Summer at Burton and Company Limited from July 1st to September 9th. Spend $200 or more in the electric shop and get a chance to win a brand new top load washing machine. This summer, Burton is giving back.
My name is Mario Ricketts. I am a trained optician certified. I am responsible for the refraction process. In this process, we do the refraction, which is what it actually generates your prescription for your glasses, and that can also tell us a few things about the eye.
You know this is a man's perfume, right?
I like to smell like my men.
Men and women fragrances available upstairs at the Health, Beauty and Cosmetics Fresh Market.
Maria, I have been on the ship for so long. When will I see the land? Land! Yes! Land! Drop the anchor! Now I just need to name it and claim it. Hi, me llamo Christopher, and today I discovered that NCCU's land loan is now at 6.5%. Yes, 6.5%. Dominica, it is easy. You see the land, you buy the land, and you build on the land within 3 years to lock in your 6.5 rate.
Visit or call any of our 7 branch locations for more information. The National Cooperative Credit Union Limited, helping you put down roots in Dominica. Terms and conditions apply.
Hello. Welcome to everyone who's joining us. Let me see where you're joining us from. Drop your flag. Let me know where you're locked in from. Make sure you share the live. It is Wednesday, June the 28th, 2023. June is done. That means half the year is done. It's a wrap. Half the year is already done. Can you believe how quickly the year is like simply flying by? I want to say special good evening to every single one of you tuned in at this time. Want to welcome you to Jael Joseph Live. Of course, my name is Jael Joseph, and I'm so happy that you could join me right here for another exclusive live interview. Today we're featuring Rianna Patterson. So we're going to be talking to the young Rianna Patterson. It is very late where she's at, so we hope to keep this tight so she can at some point get to bed. So we're hoping that we can wrap up in an hour. So keep the show to our customary 1 hour. But you know, we've got lots of stuff to talk about. So who's checking the time, right? We want to also thank every single one of our sponsors who have come on board to bring you this broadcast. Without them and without you, there could be no me. So I want to say thank you so very much to our sponsors, Burton and Company, who are there having an amazing summer promotion where you get a chance to win a top load washer. So make sure you check out the electric truck at the corner of Independence Street and Kennedy Avenue. So I want to say thank you very much to them for sponsoring. Also want to say thanks to the National Cooperative Credit Union who's offering 6.5% on mortgages right about now. What the ad say, you see the land, you buy the land. Yes. So take advantage of those low interest rates right now at the National Cooperative Credit Union. They, of course, are my institution of choice. I mean, I think I've said that quite explicitly in the past. So I want to thank them very much for sponsoring this event. Also, Fresh Market, Health and Beauty. That's, of course, Health, Beauty, and Cosmetics. That's upstairs of Fresh Market, where you can get a wide range of fragrances, you can get your cosmetics, you can get your hair, your weave, your braids, you can get your skincare, your household, your pharmacy products, and so much more upstairs at the Fresh Market HBC. And of course, optical services, because they make sure you keep your eye right. I've learned so much, being a part of the team at optical services at one point, about so many different things that they do. And I want to encourage you, if you've not gotten your eye checked, you should do so, especially those of you who have kids at home. During the summer, go get your kids' eye checked, so that they go back to school with knowing that their eye is in good health, right? So make sure you do that today. We're going to get the show on the road, and I just want to head over to the chat to see who's locked in. Thank you very much, Hot Nats. Thank you very much, Priscille, for your hearts and your love, and for tagging. Those of you who've tagged and shared, make sure you go ahead and share, tag your friend, let them know to come on over, because we're right about to get into the meat of things. We're gonna have the lovely Rihanna is going to be joining us in just a few seconds. I say seconds because I don't want to keep her up too late. I want to get into all the questions. You see, I start early and on time. I start even before 8 o'clock because I wanted to make sure that I was able to get her in and out right on time. And I want to say, first of all, let me just rewind a little bit and just, talk a little bit about Rihanna. I don't know if you follow her. I've seen her videos. I've seen her talks. I've seen various things that she's been part of. And I want to kind of get into it. I want to know, because sometimes, people say, everybody's an achiever or everybody wants to achieve certain things, but I really see her out there hustling and really trying to do her damn thing. And I want to kind of get to the heart of who Rihanna is. What is she about? Why she decided to do or found Dementia Dominica? What is her end goal? And talk about her process and all of her struggles that she's endured. This is about real stories, real people, right here on exclusive interviews. Okay, guys. So let's get into it. Thank you very much, Trish. Thank you, Dee. Thank you very much. Tag a friend. Make sure you bring them on, and share the live right about. Make sure you share the live. Thank you very much in advance. Thank you, Dee, for tagging all your folks. Stelina, thank you very much. Yes. This is like, y'all will not believe, this is like makeup from since morning. So it's not, I did not beat my face just for this. I literally just put lipstick and everything was there from since morning. So let's get into it and let's welcome, without no further ado, I just want to welcome Rianna Patterson to the show for the very, very first time. Hi, Rianna.
Hi, thanks for
How
having
are
me.
you?
Yeah, good, thanks. Trying to stay awake and alive.
I know, I was just saying that it's really late where you're at, and I don't want to, because it's now like midnight or after midnight.
8 minutes past one
Past
in the
one, wait,
morning.
what I said? 8 minutes past one,
You didn't
right?
know.
Whew. Yes, it's 8 minutes past one, and she's on here with us, and we're gonna try and get you through this. I want to encourage folks to share this live, and we're gonna talk to Rihanna a little bit. So Rihanna, I don't know too much about you, so I cannot say I know you personally. All I've learned of you is um through articles I've seen, through your website, through things that you've done. And I feel like I need to get to know, and my viewers as well would like to get to know a little bit about who you are, where you're from, like, sometimes we say, oh, I'm from Dominica, what village you're from or what community you're from, and how you came about to being so passionate about dementia, and why you're doing this. And we just want to get into the nitty gritty of who Rianna Patterson is. So first of all, let's start by getting into where were you born and raised? Tell me a little bit about where you grew up.
Sure thing. So I grew up in Dominica, in Portsmouth. Um, I took all my education there up until college. So I went to the Dominica State College, I studied psychology there. And then after that, I took a gap year out just to kind of focus on where I kind of want to go
Mhm.
after college and started volunteering. So I volunteered with the Dominica Council of Women. And there I kind of had that aha moment
Mhm.
when my friend got an award from the Queen. And then I was just like, wow, this is incredible. And then she started to tell me more about this program. And then I started to really think, like, I really want to do something for the community, but I don't know what, because I grew up relatively shy. So
Mhm.
public speaking and all these things, I would just hide away from it. It's just not for me. But
Mhm.
I felt like I could equip myself to deliver something for the community. So I
Mhm.
started to dig a bit deeper. And then I started to think about, okay, what can I do that will last? Because I want to do something that I'm passionate about. Because with passion comes longevity.
Mhm.
And then I started to think about my grandfather experience because I grew up with my grandparents and my mom
So
in
tell me a little
Portsmouth.
bit about that. Where exactly in Portsmouth are you from? Like,
So
Portsmouth is a big
Picard area.
community. Okay, so you grew up in Picard,
Hmm.
and your grandparents. Can you tell me a little bit about them?
Yeah, sure. So my grandparents, my grandfather and my grandmother, they retired in Dominica. They're both Dominicans. They went to the UK. They worked and everything like that, and they were like, "Yes, we're ready to retire." So they started to build their house from scratch in Dominica, and got a piece of land and built from there, and then sold their house in Hackney. So they used to live in Hackney, um,
Mhm.
and then we all moved. To Dominica, and yeah, the rest
So
is
you moved
history.
with your mom, and your grandparents.
Yeah,
So all of you moved to Dominica, well, moved back to Dominica. So were you actually born in Dominica, or
so I was born in Hackney in the
you were born?
UK.
So you were born in the UK.
Yeah,
Ah, okay. All right, because you always say you're from Dominica, and I'm like, were you born in Dominica? Because sometimes people say, but I guess you've decided to associate with Dominica because that's where you were raised. So you went to preschool in Dominica, or did you? What age did you get to Dominica?
so I got to Dominica when I was like 3.5.
Okay, so you went to preschool.
Mm-hmm,
You
mm-hmm,
went to primary
primary.
school. Where you went? Where did you go to primary school? Tell me a little bit about.
So it's interesting because I went to about like 3 primary schools. I was bullied, so there was a lot of transfers. I went to St. John's Primary School in Portsmouth, and then sorry, Roosevelt
Douglas.
Douglas
Mhm.
Primary School, and then Southern Pie, and I think that was the last. And then in the midst of that, Ross University Preparatory School as well, but the
Okay.
last one was Southern Pie, um, and then yeah, from the secondary school, I went to PSS,
Mhm.
Portsmouth Secondary School, and then Dominica State College.
If one of your teachers were looking at this program right now, what would they say you were? What kind of student would they say you were?
I think they would say quiet, quiet, well reserved. Um, yeah, obedience, I guess. Um, that sort of thing for sure. Yeah, along those lines.
So you mentioned your grandpa getting or developing dementia. Tell us a little bit about that, and how did you guys deal with it?
Yes. So my grandfather started to experience dementia when I was around 16. So that was like between fourth to fifth form, whilst I was in PSS. And it was quite interesting because it started off with, I guess, association with water. Like, there's a leak in the house. That's normal. So we would usually check and stuff like that, and there's no leak. So I thought I was okay. I don't really understand that. And then he was driving me to school, as he would normally do. And then we almost got in an accident. And my grandfather has never been in an accident. So that was kind of like an alarm sign that something is wrong. And then we went to kind of find out more about this through like healthcare services. And then it kind of just went downhill from there. His health started to deteriorate, his memory deteriorate. He forgot how to walk, how to talk, how to eat. I remember us being like back and forth in the house, in the hospital, in the house. And then when he was officially discharged, my gran would be actually lifting him, going up, to the second floor of the house. And I remember trying to help her, and she was like, "No, no, no, let me do it by myself," and stuff like that. So everyone was really going through it in their own way individually. It was a lot going on, all at once. And I think the most painful thing is he forgot who we were. He forgot about my gran. He forgot about my mom. He forgot about me. People that been in his life since, the beginning of time, the way I feel. So I thought that was just like, I couldn't understand it. I had to kind of research it for my own self to understand what is actually going on, because we didn't have much interactions with the doctor. So half of the time, I really didn't know if he had dementia, if he had something else, or it was kind of like that.
So when you discovered that he had dementia, you were in fourth form, as you say, fourth, fifth form. He eventually passed away, right?
Yeah.
So what was that like for your family? Because my understanding is that this was like your sole family. There was not much of an extended family going on. So
No.
can you explain to us what was that like for both your mom, yourself, as well as your grandmother?
Yeah. I mean, it was painful. After my grandfather passed away, she didn't really last for some time. She passed away in 2019. He passed away in 2013. So she really grieved quite hard, for my grandfather. My mom, she also took it quite bad as well, and still, in a sense, trying to support my grandmother as well as accepting her healing process individually as well. So that's quite hard. And then for me, I just felt like I just lost my everything. You know, I already didn't have a father because my father passed away as well. So, it's just like he was my father figure and my grandfather, my cricket partner, all, everything in one. So I just felt a double loss because we lost him when he was experiencing dementia, and then we lost him again when he passed away. Um, and I remember when he passed away, it was in a couple hours in the morning, and my mom woke me up, and she was like, "You need to come, granddad's calling you," and stuff like that. And then he was talking about, oh, don't sell the cars, don't sell this. And I was just like, I don't understand what's going on, you know? And then there was just a complete silence in the room. And he just passed away there, and then passed away in my grand's arms. And I was in the room. And my mom was on emergency services line trying to get someone to come to the house. Um, and then, yeah, they brought him to the hospital, and then he was announced dead there. And then, life just never been the same after that.
So, at what point did you decide that this was going to be something that you would want to even explore and even eventually develop, like start a whole foundation?
Yeah, so after his passing, I knew right there and then, well, not immediately then, but in the healing process, that I wanted to find out more about brain activity, human behavior, why we do what we do, why does the brain kind of age in that respect. And then I studied psychology at the Dominica State College, but from there I wasn't too sure as to where I would want to take this next. And then the idea came to start a dementia organization based on my personal experiences, and that was around just shortly after college. So I set this up with my college friends because you needed to have a board of directors to be formally registered. And then, yeah, we just kind of took it from there.
So I want to talk a little bit about the foundation. What kind of support did you get besides your college friends? Was there any, like, were people interested in it? Because you can decide, okay, I want to do this. Was there an interest around the topic? Could other people relate? Was there a buzz created by you starting this foundation?
Yes, I mean, like at the time, there wasn't really anyone else talking about dementia in Dominica.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I started this when I was 18. So I feel like there was like a buzz as to a young person doing this. And then there was also some criticism from seniors saying, like, why is this young girl doing this? You know, like, I guess they were seeing it like young people, they start things and, they get other interests and they die out and they don't last. So that's
Mm-hmm.
what people were maybe concerned of as well.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a bit like a half and half kind of variation in perspectives. Um, and then people started to see, okay, we're proactive, we're doing this, we're doing advocacy. And that's kind of like what we started off with. I felt like it was really important to sensitize the community as to what dementia is, what we're actually doing, and creating that baseline. And then we can, do collaborations, do conferences, do what we need to do at a community level. But yeah, just having that advocacy element first really helped us in terms of people understanding what we're doing.
Okay. So did you guys have any, like, did you encounter any hurdles? Like, were there any issues besides the older people wondering, like, what is this young person doing? Like, that's not going to last. Besides they thinking that, were there any hurdles that you guys had to overcome as a very new and small organization?
Yeah, definitely. As we are youth led, it serves its own challenges because we are also up and coming in our careers. So a lot of people, they moved overseas that were, active members of the foundation to seek other career aspirations. And then there
You
was,
want to share with us some of the people who were part of it, like their names? So.
yeah, sure. So Malon's in Cuba now. So that's
Mhm.
one example. He's, doing his studies there. Lakia, which is one of the MPs, she also went to Trinidad shortly to also do her studies, and now she's back and she's an MP and she's doing, wonderful things. Um, and then there's also Alicia. Alicia's now in the States. Craig in the States. People are just widespread now. But
Mhm.
back when it was just like just after college, people were still around, you know.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, it's kind of like that kind of situation. Deslin's in Canada, studying, I think, and working as well, or she might just be working full time actually. But yeah, a lot of people are now overseas doing other things. So that is just kind of like, you know, building sustainability. Um, it's been a challenge.
So
It's been a challenge.
you've been who are the active members right now of your foundation? Like, who is it, just you now? Is it a one woman show now?
No, definitely not. We've got Tina Alexander,
Hmm.
which is she's a trustee of the foundation, and we also have Melon is still involved in some regard, I would say, and we've got Vero Nicholas. She's the president of the Dominica Dementia Foundation. So we still got a few members that are around on the board and also in membership as well.
Nice, nice. I want to start talking a little bit about you and your own aspirations, because besides the foundation. So in 2017, you became you received the Queen's Young Leader award, and you decided, okay, you are moving throttle with this. Can you explain what that actually meant to you, and why did you decide to actually, because based on my understanding, it's a submission, like you submit, and then they decide whether or not you fulfill what they're looking for. So can you explain to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So I applied for the Queen Young Leaders Award because my friend also received the award. So she was able to guide me in that regard as to how I go about doing that. Um, and I just thought it was a brilliant opportunity to kind of understand leadership. You know, I'm taking on this role just out of college. I want to equip myself, the best I can. So I felt like that was an opportunity to kind of just share resources, contribute, build my network. Because I didn't have much of a network apart from like my immediate family and my college friends. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of building seniority, leadership, networking, I just didn't have that opportunity at the time. So I applied, and then they got back to me. I remember going to work. So I had my first job, was working in the magazine with Mr. Parry Bellot, who's passed away now. But I remember going to work with him, and I was getting a call, and they were like, "Yeah, we just wanted to call you to say that you got accepted, for the award." And I just could not believe it. I remember I was just like, "Oh my gosh, are you sure that you called the right person?" I was in such disbelief,
Mm-hmm.
that I, as a young person, as a Dominican, could get such an award.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a privilege. It was such a privilege. And then started to like tell my grand and stuff like that. She was delighted. I remember her being so happy and so proud and stuff like that. And then preparing to go to the UK because at some point it's a year program. So we
Mm-hmm.
have like a leadership course at the University of Cambridge, and then there was a week residential in the UK. So then I remember, organizing to go to the UK, thinking of what I'm gonna wear at the Buckingham Palace because I wear Dominica on my sleeve. So I knew that I had to wear something like a wobjuet. So I got
Mm-hmm.
that made at the time as well. And then, the whole program it really shifted my leadership and understanding of what a leader is and can be. Um, we had various guest speakers come and speak to us from different industries. And then also we had the ceremony at Buckingham Palace with, I think, over 59 other young people from the Commonwealth,
Mm-hmm.
doing just amazing things. I was so inspired. It was just an inspirational space to be in, even at the ceremony when we had to get the award from Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth, it was just like, I don't think I can do this, guys. So everyone was just hyping people up. They're like, you're fine, you deserve to be here, this, that, and the other. Because you could really struggle with disbelief and imposter syndrome because these are high level people, and you really can think like, what am I doing here? What do I
Mm-hmm.
deserve to be here, kind of thing. So it was really nice to just have the community to just back you and be like, hey, you know, you are here for a reason, sort of thing. And then, yeah, got the award and then was on an interview with Prince Harry straight after. I just could not believe it. It was just like heart attack to heart attack, you know? But I was just like, hey, let me remember I'm representing my country, my family, my foundation. I need to get it together, you know? So, I just did what I had to do. And it was just a really proud and humbling moment for me personally.
Upon return to Dominica, you decided to that you were going to probably pursue more than just the award or just focus on your organization. You decided
Definitely.
that you want to go study. Tell us a little bit about why did you decide? I mean, everybody knows why people want to go and study, but why did
Hmm.
you decide in that moment that that is the time, and this is where I'm gonna go, and this is what I'm gonna do, and this is what I'm going to need to get to that level, and what kind of support did you receive along that journey?
Yeah, definitely. So I knew that I wanted to study in the UK because that's where I was born. So I just felt
Mhm.
it would be easier that way. And I've got like an auntie here. So I was looking at universities near her because I just felt that, it would help me to integrate into UK life. And then I thought, yeah, I want to keep studying psychology because I'm still interested in the topic. And from the dementia work, I really want to learn more about all aspects of psychology. So then I applied to the University of Kent. I got accepted and yeah, just started my bachelor's degree there. And whilst doing that, I was also managing the foundation as well,
Yeah, because I
which,
remember seeing you doing things like even during I think it was COVID, I would see you posting and sharing sharing different things. So you continue to tell us a little bit about that and why it was important for you to, because most times when people go to university, they throw a big stone behind them because they know they're on to greener pastures. There's a possibility that it's going to be a lot of work managing school as well as something in another country. Why did you decide that you were going to continue managing this during that specific time?
I mean, the Dementia Foundation is really my passion. Started from the ground up, and I've seen the impact. I've seen the way all the people light up. When we do care home visits, when we do art and dance therapy, being in the midst of just making a difference. I just wanted to continue to do that no matter what I'm doing, if I'm working, if I'm studying, like I just want to make a difference, in the lives of others. So I felt it was important that even if I'm with my studies, yes, that's important, but the community is also important, and I'm doing this for the community. So I want to continue just building on that. And then it was a very interesting time because I was starting university, but then also Hurricane Maria, was going on in Dominica, and I didn't experience it personally, but from looking from an outside lens, I was terrified. I was calling friends, are you okay? I just couldn't deal. Like I just felt detached. I just wanted to be there, with people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and my university wasn't doing anything about it. And I've just come here, and I don't really know much people here, but I just felt like I needed a community. You know what I mean? And I felt like the university needed to be empathetic, even if I'm the only Dominican here. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
you need to take care of your international students. It's important. Um, so then I started to advocate for, Dominicans getting support, getting relief. And then there was also a Kent Caribbean Union being set up at my university. So I just knew 100% I just want to be a part of that. And then if we can support Dominica, you know, in the same way, then that would be really helpful. And they were very open to doing a fundraiser. So we hosted a fundraiser for Dominica, and then we contributed that to the High Commission of Dominica. So that was really good. And then I got a grant from the Queen's Commonwealth Trust to the Dominica Dementia Foundation to support all the people during that time, because a lot of the residential homes, their infrastructure was completely damaged, wiped out, and some of these, care homes, they're public, so they're not privately owned, so they don't really have much income. So us being able to support in that way really helped them and help their residents. So that was also a project that we did as well.
Can you
Um,
before you go into more detail? Can you tell
yeah,
us about some of the homes that you were able to actually assist through the grant that you received?
yeah. So we supported all of them. I think it was Fox. There was another care home in Maho, Grotto Home. That of a care home in Portsmouth as well, Grange.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, we supported all care homes in Dominica through that grant.
Wow. What was the support like? Was it just in the form of like helping them fix stuff, or was it more like getting them food and clothing and
Yeah, so like
what was it like?
food.
Because I know like normally when you get grants, they want to know how did you spend it? Did you buy food? Did you buy clothes? Did you buy so can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so it's like basic needs: food, water, clothing. Because that also helps them to offset the costs, that
Mm-hmm.
they have to do on their roofs and other aspects of their infrastructure. So that's how we kind of supported. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, so at this time, I kind of just we want to segue into, you've completed university. We want to kind of get into that in just a little bit, but we gotta pay the bills. I also want to acknowledge some of the folks who are on the live right now, like Curdell Coffee, who is saying that you were such an inspiration to continue thriving. So people are coming on. Fran Del Sol is saying Rianna is doing things significantly older folks do. She sets the bar for our youth. Bravo. So folks are coming on and they're commenting and they're feeling really inspired by your story. We're gonna take a short break, pay some bills, but when we come back, we want to talk about the struggles you've gone through, because you've gone through some struggles, and some of it is financial. You've also just recently done some amazing things, where you've traveled to some amazing places. We'll talk a little bit about that, and we also talk about the fact that you now have you have a GoFundMe, because and that GoFundMe essentially is to help you with, and we'll talk a little bit about that as well when we come back. Right after this, we continue the conversation. We'll get her to get some water or some tea, some tea, and we come back right after this.
Welcome to Optical Services. My name is Mario Ricketts. I am a trained optician certified. I am responsible for the refraction process. In this process, we do the refraction, which is what it actually generates your prescription for your glasses, and that can also tell us a few things about the eye.
Ay, Santa Maria, I have been on the ship for so long. When will I see the land? Land! Yes! Land! Drop the anchor! Now I just need to name it and claim it. Hi, me llamo Christopher, and today I discovered that NCCU's land loan is now at 6.5%. Yes, 6.5%. Dominica, it is easy. You see the land, you buy the land, and you build on the land within 3 years to lock in your 6.5 rate.
Visit or call any of our 7 branch locations for more information. The National Cooperative Credit Union Limited, helping you put down roots in Dominica. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, it's all happening this summer at Burton and Company Limited from July 1st to September 9th. Spend $200 or more in the electric shop and get a chance to win a brand new top-load washing machine. This summer, Burton is giving back.
You know this is a man's perfume, right?
I like to smell like my men.
Men and women fragrances available upstairs at the Health, Beauty, and Cosmetics Fresh Market.
All right, guys, we're back. We're back right here on the show. We're gonna get things continuing. I should say we're gonna continue from where we last left off. I want to welcome back with us Rianna Patterson, who's joining us all the way from the UK, and she is one of the inspiring young people, and she considers herself to be from Dominica, even if she wasn't really born there, right? But you lived there all your life, so you more probably more Dominican than some of us. All right. Before we took a break, we were talking a little bit about your journey to university, some of the things that you did, even when Maria happened, in terms of assisting some of the homes in Dominica. I want to get into a little bit on of some of the things that some of the obstacles that you've had to or the hoops you've had to jump through. And I want to kind of start off with you telling us a little bit about your you've had financial difficulties completing schooling. So can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So in 2019, my grand passed away, and from there, I think that's when the finances were a bit up and down. I was able to complete my bachelor's degree, but I didn't really have like abode. I was pretty much homeless. Um, and then I was able to get like an internship, and then from there, kind of springboard me back into housing, like proper housing. So I was renting,
Hmm.
um, and then even then, it was just a really difficult time because I'm just out of university, so the income is not really as sufficient to support the rent and living expenses. So there's a lot going on in that space. Um, and then when I decided to do my master's, I haven't been able to save really, if I'm honest. So that's a really financial investment for me, considering I don't have the funding and I don't have the family support right now. Um, so I then decided to start a GoFundMe to support my plight in pursuing a
Some
master's.
some folks might say, like, why a GoFundMe, And I can even talk on my experience. I've in the past done a GoFundMe, and it honestly had nothing to do with trying to scam people or get money out of people. I remember when I actually did it was or why I actually did it was it was the easiest way for my family to assist, because they'd reached out in many different ways and wanted to be able to assist right after Maria. And I got some flack for it, and just as much you have, because it's not something that is um it's actually something that is probably frowned upon, and it almost looks like where you're trying to exploit people, you're probably trying to get money out of people, and people can look at you in a negative light. And I remember one person saying to me, that um the mentioning, the fact that you've done a GoFundMe, and I was like, well, I know people who've done GoFundMe's for breast implants, so why
Hmm.
can't she
Hmm.
do a GoFundMe for her education, especially if she's in hard times and there are people willing to assist her? Why did you decide that GoFundMe was the route that you wanted to take?
So it was really my last resort, if I'm honest. I applied to do my master's last year and I didn't have the funding. I tried scholarships, most of them were closed, some of them didn't come back, and I had to take the decision to defer my master's.
Hmm.
So now I'm starting this year and not last year. Um, and I was like, okay, now that I've deferred it, this is like literally my last chance, because if I don't get the funding, then I'll have to just withdraw my application altogether, um, and then start from scratch. And you never really know these things if they will accept you again, or so it's really come to an urgent point in time, um, applying for grants and so on. But I think additional to applying for scholarships and grants, it would help to set up a GoFundMe as well. So that's when I kind of came into that um, space.
Have you gotten grants or even scholarships from the university?
Yeah, so by God's grace, I got a bursary from a charity, and then I got a scholarship for accommodation, and then most recently I got the Division of Psychiatry scholarship from UCL, which also adds into the crowdfunder. So I'm
Hmm.
finding ways to kind of add into the crowdfunder. So yes, this individual giving, but alongside that is scholarships. There's other ways of kind of adding to the funding as well. And then even doing freelance work, freelance public speaking, writing. I'm doing everything under the sun so I can, get the funding that I need, because I need to do this master's. I think it is the next step that I just need to take.
Why is it so important to you to do a master's? Because some people go all of their life with just a bachelor's and they're able to work and
Mhm.
take care of themselves. Why do you feel it's necessary for you to do a master's degree?
Well, I've been like in this space with dementia for a couple of years now, since I was 18. And I just feel like it's really time for me to kind of intentionally work in dementia in a professional capacity. So I'm hoping that after the master's degree, I can then feed back the resources that I've learned back into, the Dominica Dementia Foundation, but also take on the mantle of becoming a researcher at the Commonwealth Office, so I can focus on dementia in Dominica, but also dementia on a global scale. I want to just tackle this thing globally, not just in the Caribbean community, but elsewhere as well, because we are um, in a point where we're facing a global population crisis. So there's a lot of spaces where support is needed in that regard, and I want to contribute to that.
That's fantastic, Rihanna. Tell me, I mean, you do you get time for yourself? What do you do for free? Like,
Now,
just to speak on like, do you have time for yourself? Trying to hustle, work here, do speaking engagements, all of this to try and raise money so you can go back to school. What do you do? What does Rihanna do for fun?
I like skateboarding. So
Really?
yeah, I mean, I grew up as an only child, so skateboarding, skating, fishing, all these kind of things. I just grew up with that. So skateboarding with friends, going to galleries. I love art. I paint sometimes, so that too. And then church life. I think it's literally grinding church work for me at the moment. So having that community at church has been, a blessing to God. It's just been, fellowship, events, evangelizing, ministering, getting deep in my word, because I think this is a faith building season for me, if I'm honest, because now I'm just literally relying on the Holy Spirit to kind of, get the target amount for the crowdfunder, literally. Um, but by God's grace, it's been going really well. Like over £18,000 has been raised out of the £20,000 that's needed.
So you
So
need
I'm
2,000 pounds, right? You need about
yeah,
2,000 pounds
yeah.
left. And if you're viewing and you want to contribute, you are welcome to do so. I think I will pin the funder to the event to this event, so you can go ahead, and if you choose to support her initiative. Uh, I also wanted to speak a little bit about, you developed a film. So tell me a little bit about your film, and why did you decide that you were going to do a film? Was it part of a project? How did you come about it?
Well, that is also a very interesting story, because that started somewhere like when my grand passed away as well. I think it was like December 2019. I was very much burnt out, and just in my healing process. And I got an email saying that, they want me to be a part of a documentary. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is really exciting. And then there was conversations about me trying to get funding to be part of this thing, because it was like a corporate film, and it didn't work out. I couldn't get funding, and I just was kind of left with the idea. Like I had a whole thing of what I will say, what this and the other, um, and then I thought, okay, how can I build on this idea to maybe do a feature film, you know? And that's kind of like how it progressed. And I was looking for funding still, and it wasn't really coming through. But I knew that I wanted to do this now. So then I actually set up a crowdfunder. So that was my first crowdfunder. And that took me about like 2 years to get, just about the funding that I can do something. Um, so I raised £4,000 that time. And then I was able to pay everyone. So I had a team working with me, photographers, videographers, drone operators. I got 2 interns from the Dominica State College to come on board with me as well, because I wanted to, invest in our young people locally, because I knew that, it's not every day someone comes with a documentary in Dominica. So people in that space that want to get in that space, it's important for them to be part of this kind of project. So that was really good to have the 2 interns with me, and then I had a runner as well. And we started in the UK. So I filmed someone living with young onset dementia. He's in his 30s. My good friend. He's amazing. So he had a lot to say about being a young person with dementia, and also with HIV. And, he just got a lot going on there, which he's open to speak about. So I was really grateful for him sharing his story. And then after that, we went to Dominica. I spent about a month there having conversations with, people who are carers, people who set up residential care homes for older people. We travel far and wide in Dominica. We were in Portsmouth, we were in Tongue, we were in, Kalinago territory. I don't want to say the rest because I want people to see the film. It was just a joy to create this. It was a struggle because I was crowdfunding during COVID to get this, documentary on the way. But, just being in the midst of just, being part of the process has just been an absolute pleasure for me. And I cannot wait for people to see this documentary, because we're celebrating older people. We're tackling ageism in the media through film. You know, I didn't want to make another documentary that people are like, oh, okay, yes, vulnerable older people. I just didn't want that kind of, inkling. I wanted
You
people
wanted to
to
see the joy. You wanted people to see the
right.
joy.
Yes, I wanted people to be delighted to watch this documentary, and after that, think about what can I do for someone who has dementia? How can I support in this space? It's a call to action, this documentary. And it should be out by the end of this week, God's willing. So
Wow, that's
yes,
amazing. Congratulations to you. Where can we see the documentary if we want to?
it will.
So let us know.
Yes, so it will be on VMO,
Hmm.
and then after that, it will also be in various film festivals across the globe. So I'm looking at New York, I'm looking at Trinidad, um, Barbados, all across the globe. I just want the community to take in this documentary as it is, and yeah, talk about it, share it, that sort of thing.
Thank you very much, Rianna, for this. You just recently made a trip to Canada. Tell us a little bit about your trip to Canada, and how you keep landing these gigs that people, this coveted gigs, I should say. Well, what is the process? Explain to us how you were able to land this gig and what it was about.
Honestly, some of these opportunities, it's just come from mentorship. It's just been like just being in the space where people are doing things, they will just share as well. And this is how I kind of got involved with the Duke of Edinburgh Commonwealth Study Conference. I didn't know about it personally until my mentor was just like, I've been on this program, Rihanna, I want you to be on it. And he's looked me in, with a few opportunities in the Commonwealth, like speaking at the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in Rwanda. He's the one that kind of put me forward for that as well. So I was like, wherever Andrew says goes, I will go wherever he tells me to go. So I applied, and I was successful. And then, yeah, I was in Canada for about 2 weeks, and it was, one of the most exhilarating weeks of my life. We went across Canada. We started off in Banff, and then we had the 2 days of the conference, public speakers, alumni of the conference talking about their experiences and what, just come open minded, giving us tips and so on. And then we all went into our respective study groups. So I was in the Newfoundland and Labrador group, and there were people in Ontario, there were people in other parts of Canada. And we were there for 9 days, and we had conversations with people working in marine conservation. We had conversation with indigenous communities, elders, political leaders, MPs, past and present, on just a plethora of themes and topics, and it really broadened my mindset because we came from all across the globe. You know, we had people from parts of Africa, Australia, New Zealand, you know, and they're coming with, you know, experiences and skills that, you know, really just blew my mind. You know, we were breaking down complex conversations, debriefs on the bus. You know, we were basically sleeping on the bus. You know, we were on the bus every day, you know, just meeting just interesting people and just having conversations that just, I mean, you couldn't get anywhere else. It was really on the ground learning. It was a really immersive experience, and I'm just grateful for it. And I will definitely pay it forward. I'm hoping to get a few more people from the Caribbean part of this program because, you know, it really is meant to just shift your leadership skills in a way that you probably wouldn't have experienced before elsewhere otherwise.
Wow, this sounds really really great. I have someone on here, Father Herman Chapless is saying, please express my congratulations to Rihanna for her major achievements in life. I'm proud of her because I saw her as a young shy girl develop into a young woman who can change the world to be a better place. Her grandparents and her mom took her to our Friday youth nights every week. They took her to every church activity. I continue to follow her progress and will keep her in my prayers. Her grandparents are smiling upon her and her achievements. And folks are really applauding you. And I'm sure more of the applaud will come along. I have one final question for you, but before I do that, I want to thank one of my sponsors, Western Union, who is one of the largest money transfers. Actually, they're the leaders of money transfers across the globe. They do money transfers globally, locally. You could transfer money from almost anywhere. And want to big up Western Union, the agents, HHV Church and Company Limited, and to let folks know that you can transfer at any of the locations. So you can go to Roseau, you can go to Portsmouth. There's a location in Grand Bay, and there soon will be a location at Big W in Caneville. So thank you very much to Western Union for coming on board with us for this wonderful event. Rihanna, what's next for you?
What's next? The masters. Literally, I'm just praying that I can just get through the masters, enjoy it, and get back into aligning myself with my passion. Because I've worked in various industries, film, marketing, young people, but never really dementia in a professional context. So I'm really looking forward to kind of taking this new leap in my early career. Um,
Mhm.
and yeah, that's what's next, aligning my passion with my career.
Wow. Where can folks find you? I want to give you an opportunity to share with folks if they're looking for you, if they want to support you, how they can get to know more about Rianna Patterson.
Well, Jael, what to plus? I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, you know, I'm everywhere, like literally. So on Instagram, it's Rianna Patterson underscore. On Twitter is Rianna Patterson. Facebook, I think it's just Rianna Patterson. And then LinkedIn, Rianna Patterson MBPS. Um, so yeah.
Yeah. Rihanna, it's been a pleasure. I want to see if anybody has any questions for you. Well, Fran is saying that we need to get your film into the Toronto Film Festival and Caribbean Tales.
Oh
So Fran
wow.
is also just sharing some support here for you. I want to tell you to continue to push forward, and don't let people discourage you. Don't let what people say. As long as you're I think you've been honest with your journey, and you've been very much honest with the public about what you want to do. And if this is the way that is the easiest, you have 2,000 pounds left, and I hope that people will be able to support you and really help you with this. Um, it takes a village, and you pretty much, you don't have your family, especially your grandparents, who were your rock, they're no longer with you. And I know you'll raise it, and I know you'll do wonderful things. And I hope that when you do, you return to Dominica and you can be really meaningful, or continue your with the foundation. So I want to thank you very much for coming on the show. I want to wish you well. I know you're getting ready for the launch of your film, as well as starting school in September. Masters is hard. Let me tell you, I've done it. Wait. I've done it. I'm not even gonna lie and tell you it's going to be a breeze. Undergrad was like phew for me. Masters was a pit it. So
Oh yeah.
I want you to tell you, brace yourself, and get people that really want to support what you're doing. Like, keep close to people that will support your dreams, both to encourage you and also to help you financially, because no one can do it alone. And I want to encourage you to continue the hard work, and to continue to advocate for dementia, and people living with it, or people who've passed on, and as well as the foundation that will eventually help lots of people. All right.
Wow. Thank you so much for your encouragement. Really means a lot, Jael.
You're most welcome. And if you have any final words, you want to shout at anybody, the floor is yours. You're free to do this right about now.
Well, I would just say shout out to everyone that has watched this interview. Shout out to Andrew once again for just being an amazing mentor. Shout out to my teacher who saw me in Montreal, who hosted me there. Miss, I appreciate you so much. Thank you. And just the Dominican diaspora for your support, for contributing, for sharing, for words of encouragement. It's been really holding me up this past few months. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Rianna. Take care.
Take care.
Bye
Bye.
bye. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed having Rianna here on the show with us. I think she's an amazing young woman. And I mean, she probably is not as explicit as you probably might want her to be in terms of her struggle. But just imagine having your both people who really looked after you gone, and now you're pretty much left on your own to fend for yourself as a young woman, and also to give back, and continues to give back to your community, the community that raised you. So I want to wish her well, and I want to thank you, every single one of you who came on here this evening. I want to thank the sponsors, the Western Union, that the agents in Dominica, HHV Richard and Company. I want to say thank you very much to Optical Services for for really putting your money where your mouth is behind this program. Thank you very much to the National Cooperative Credit Union, who sponsored my shows for the month of June. I hope to bring more content for you guys in July, so stay tuned. Also want to say thank you to Burton and Company, the electric shop where you can get all your washers, dryers, and your cookware. If you're looking for cookers, or you're looking for a brand new stove, and even air conditioning in that heat that have in Dominica, let me tell you, check out the electric shop. That's Burton and Company. Also want to say thank you very much to Fresh Market, the health and beauty and cosmetics department upstairs. Thank you so very much for your support. I want to say thank you to all of you who came on here this evening, those of you who shared and will share the show. So I also want to encourage you to share the show. Let folks know. We'll tag Rihanna's foundation in the link, so you can go back and you can support her cause. But if you go on GoFundMe and you type in her name, you will find it, because I was able to find it, right? So I want to encourage you to support in any way you can. If it's $10, $5, whatever you can give to help her cause. I think the proof is in the pudding, and she has done the work, and she continues to do the work, and I wish her well. Thank you guys, all of you who came on, for your support, for your love, for your encouragement towards me, for those of you who always reach out and ask a question. For those of you who follow all my pages, my Dashing Leaf movement folks, thank you very much to you guys. You know, all of you who really support. I'm so grateful to have you guys in my life. And I want to say thank you very, very, very much for all your support. Until next time, I'll be back for another episode sometime. Of course, I always come back. I'll be back, right? So thank you again for tuning in. Stay tuned. Tomorrow, I'll be back with 2 cents. So for those of you who check out 2 cents on a Thursday evening, I encourage you to log into my YouTube folks. Thank you very much for tuning in. Those of you who are on Twitter, LinkedIn. Actually, this was streamed on Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. So we were everywhere. All right. So hopefully all of you got a chance to check out Rianna's interview. If you didn't, I encourage you to, you can come back, or if you caught us late, you jumped in late, you can always look back at the entire show after. Thanks again, guys. Until next time, good night.